Hello everyone. Welcome to my live. This is my first live, so be gentle with me. So, hello, welcome. Yeah, so I thought I'd do this quick live to give you an update. So, this is an update regarding the recent immigration changes. So, I'll wait for a few more people to join and then we'll start. Hello, welcome to my chat, my live, not my chat. Welcome. Please introduce yourself. If you join, say hello so that I know you're here. Welcome to my live, first live. So I just wanted to give you a quick update. This is my first live, so you're welcome. Welcome to my live session. We're going to be talking about the key immigration changes that was introduced in October. So please welcome and say hello when you join, please. Say hello when you join. Hello, welcome. So whilst we're waiting for more people to join, today's video will just be all about the recent changes, the key changes to immigration, ever popular, immigration, the changes that have come in following the immigration white paper that was published on the 12th of May 2025. So I'm just going to go through it, and if you have questions, then you can ask. So we'll just wait for a few more minutes and then I can then start. If you have any questions, please pop it in the chat and then I can answer any questions you may have. Thank you. Just make sure you can hear me. Hello. You're welcome. Yes, let's wait for a few more people. So waiting for people to join, then we can start. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for joining my live. And what's your name? I hope you can hear me. Let's see, we're in for a few more people to join, then we can start. So, like I said, today's video, just a quick update on the recent immigration changes in October. This is following off from the statement of change, if you like, immigration white paper that was published in May 2025. Then that followed up with statements of change that was published further in July. So I just want to give a quick recap on that. And also, of course, since then, things have moved on. There are more changes that came into effect or were published in October 2025, 14th of October to be precise. Further statement of change were published. So I just wanted to go through that. But before we do that, let's just wait for a few more people to join and then we can kick it off. Thank you for joining. Say hi. This is my first live. Please say hi and encourage me. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Chantel. So yes, hello Chantal. Welcome to my live. This is my first live. So for today's purpose of this live is to provide a quick update regarding recent immigration changes, and I'll also be giving a recap of previous white paper proposal and what has happened since then. Just waiting for a few more people to join. Then I can start the live video. I can start the session. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you have any question, then I can answer your question towards the end of live video. Yes, just waiting for a few more people. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, so we're not going to wait for more people. We just start so that I don't intend this live to be too long. So, yes, so the purpose of this live is just to give a quick update regarding the recent immigration changes. Yeah. So if you recall, or rather on the 12th of May, there's been a lot of talks about proposal to change some of immigration rules, if you rather, a lot of proposal. And then on the 12th of May 2025, the government published the white immigration white paper. It's called rather the long-awaited immigration white paper, and that white paper set out a lot of proposal. And one of the key things, of course, is to curtail immigration, meaning to curtail net immigration in UK, and also to make it harder for people to move and settle in UK. So that was the proposal. So a lot of proposal was published then, which includes, making English tougher English language requirement, and extension of probationary period for qualification of indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years, and the list goes on, and ending of overseas care visa, and raising the threshold for RQF levels for skilled workers. There was quite a lot of proposal. And then following on from that, on the in July, there was further immigration changes, because in July, I think 22nd of July to be precise, the care visa came to an end. For skilled worker visa, a lot of them was changed. So they removed a lot of medium skills, if you like, level, like RQF level. They removed quite a lot of them. So they raised the threshold, meaning that an employer looking to recruit skilled worker now we have to be set from RQF level 6 and above. All those changes came into place. I have done a video on that. So if you want to know more about that, then do go and watch the video. I've done the video on skilled worker, the changes, what that means to people that are affected. So for today's video, we're just going to be looking at, okay, what has actually changed since the 12th of May, the proposal, the changes that came into effect from the 22nd of July. So among the proposal in May was also reduction of study visa, the post-study visa, graduate visa rather, as it's known, from 24 months to 18 months. So those were the proposal. And then, so in today's video, we'll be talking about what has actually changed. So from the 14th of October, the government published further statement of change with some changes they put into place. So I'm just going to go through that. I'm just looking at the country is just looking at some of the text. I'll look at that. And then, yeah, yes, Chantel is becoming tougher and tougher. So, not in order just to clarify. So in July, a lot of changes actually came into place. So July saw the end of overseas recruitment for care visa. Also made some changes to skilled workers, meaning an employer that wants to recruit now will have to recruit skilled worker at level RQF level 6 and above before they were able to do that, with some transitional arrangements. So I suggest you go watch the video if you haven't watched it. But for today, let's look at what have actually changed. So remember when I first started, I did say that the government proposed a tougher English language requirement. They proposed to reduce the graduate visa from currently 24 months to 18 months. They propose raising the skills charge. The skill charge is the money that employers pay to sponsor a worker. So there was a proposal for that. There was a proposal to extend the 5-year qualifying period of to 10 years for those applying for indefinite leave to remain. Currently it's 5 years, but even with that proposal, there's an explicit exemption for partners or British citizens or those experiencing domestic abuse or those that gained their leave on grounds of EU settlement scheme. So those categories of people are exempted even if or whenever that 5 years is extended to 10 years, those are not affected. So let's quickly look at today. For today, we'll just be looking at who, what has changed and who is affected. Remember, we talked about in the proposal, they did say they're going to be making English language requirement tougher. So for now, for those unskilled worker, the requirement is now that they pass English language at B1. So the changes that came into effect, they now have to meet, pass it at B2. So basically, and now they have a definite date. So I'm just going to read out what is coming into effect and what is not coming into effect. So basically, in terms of the English language requirement, that has gone up. So the current level is at B1. So basically, what that means, there's only the routes that are affected will be required to pass the test at B2. So currently it's B1. So the minimum required English language level will be raised from B1 to B2. So this is B2. It's called Common European Framework of Reference for English Language. All this means is just the qualification level for those skilled workers applying for visa. They will be required to pass at a level B2. It used to be B1. And the routes are affected actually is those like skilled workers, they are affected. High potential individuals are affected, and also the scale-up routes are also affected. Now you may ask, when does this come into effect? This actually takes effect. So these changes will take effect from the 8th of January 2026. That means is that if you were renewing your visa, then before that date, then you will not be affected. Yeah, let me just quickly have a look at this. Okay, to see. Okay. Do you have any questions so far before I carry on? Yeah, yes, Chantel. So the self-sponsorship, I'll probably do a separate video on that. Yeah, so today's video, it's not about self-sponsorship, but there is something, like self-sponsorship. So I'll probably do a separate video on that. But today I'm just looking at a quick update on what has changed. So basically, yes. So like I've said earlier, is that the key changes coming up from the 8th of January 2026 is that for skilled workers or highly potential individuals or scale-up route, will now be required to pass their English language test at level B2. It used to be B1, and that takes effect from 8th of January 2026. But however, if those that are applicable, those within that route, if they're applying to renew before the 8th of January 2026, then the B1 will be applicable to them. Now, the other changes as well is just bear with me. You talk more about self-sponsorship. Yes, Chantel, you asked a question about self-sponsorship. So because this video is not about self-sponsorship, I will be doing another live or another video, recorded video about that, and I'll talk more about that. So today's video is just quickly about key changes, that are coming up. Yeah, but I will do a live or a recorded video about self-sponsorship because I think that's another route that people can explore. Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. So do you have any question on any of the topic or what I've said so far? If not, I'll just carry on. Right. So we'll carry on. So basically, yeah, the second one is about the skill charge. So basically, a skill charge is the money that an employer had to pay to sponsor a worker. So they have to pay this charge. So there's a proposal. This will now increase. So from 1,000 to 1,320, and this is for medium or large sponsors. So this will be for medium company or large sponsors, or maybe large companies sponsoring a worker. So this is the money they pay to sponsor that worker. So it's now increasing from 1,000 to 1,320. However, the lower rate applies to like charitable organizations, sponsors, like charitable organizations or small organizations, so lower rate will apply to them. However, in terms of when this will apply, we're hoping probably later this year. There's no set date, but we do know that it would increase, at some point. So this will be employers sponsoring a worker. This is the fee they pay. So currently, I think it's 1,000, and the new changes will increase from 1,000 to 1,300 and 20. And this is for medium scale employer or large employer. So this would be like for medium scale employers or large companies. This will be applicable to them. But a lower rate would actually apply for a smaller company or charitable sponsors who are looking to sponsor work at UK. Now, another one of the proposals that the white paper published was, reducing the graduate route, reducing it from 24 months to 18 months. So we now have a date. So basically, the date is, this will be effective from January 2027. So, there have been a lot of talk about it. So there were proposals that graduate route will now be reduced from 24 months. When we're talking about graduate route, what that means is once, like a student finishes their degree, they can get 2 years post-study visa to work, to get experience. So currently it's 24 months. That is now being reduced to 18 months. However, it will not take effect till 1st of January 2027. That means it will only affect those that apply from that date onwards. So if someone finishes their study and apply now, then the current rule will apply to them. So the 24 months will still apply to them. So this is only effective from January 2027. Now, this does not apply to PhD holders or PhD graduates. So if somebody is here, they've successfully completed their PhD or doctoral qualification, then 3 years still applies to them. So it was 3 years, and that 3 years still applies to them. That will not change. The only people it affects is those graduates, yeah. And these graduates is the ones that haven't renewed their visa. So basically, graduates that are not on post-study visa or maybe applying rather from 2027, 1st of January 2027 onwards, this will affect them. But if someone was to apply, if anyone on this route was to apply before that date, then the 24 months will still be applicable to them. Any questions? I can take questions before I continue. You can text your question. I will see. Do you have any question? Okay. So let's carry on. And then the other one is Botswana. So I don't know if you're aware that Botswana national, they do not require visa to come into UK. So, but from 14th of October, this has been revoked. So from 14th of October 2025, they now require visa to come to UK. So previously, they were not visa national, meaning that they can come to UK without visa. However, the government have now revoked this. So Botswana is now visa national, meaning that if they want to come to UK, they will require a visa. They will need to apply for a visa. That's even if they're on transit, even if they are transiting through UK airport, they will need a visa. This is one of the key changes. Now, let's move on to the most talked about one. So during the white paper proposal, there was a lot of talk about extending the 5 years probational period for indefinite leave to remain, or also known as ILR, from 5 years to 10 years. So there was a lot of talk in the sense that we don't know how that will pan out, who will it affect. Will it affect people already here, or will it affect people that are coming in? And then when the changes, further a statement of change was published in July, there was no changes to that. And then with October, further statement of change that was published on the 14th of October, 2024, there was nothing, mentioned about that. What we do know is that these changes may come, but we don't know who is going to affect. We do know that there will be some exemption. It made it clear, even if the 5 years is later extended to 10 years, it will not affect. So those that are spouses of British citizens, so there's explicit exemption for spouses of British citizens, or those facing domestic abuse, or those who gain their right through the EU settlement scheme. Those ones will not be affected. Now, with further proposal, in terms of 5 years probational period, what the government is trying to say is that indefinite leave to remain is no longer going to be a right. It will be based on earned interest. I have done a video on that before. So if you're not sure, or if you want to know more, please go and watch it. So it's going to be based on your earned right, your contribution into the society, maybe your work history, those kind of things. So it's not going to be based on because you've completed 5 years probationary period that you qualify for it. It will be based on earned interest, maybe your kind of participation in the community, in the society, your contribution, your work, all those kind of things. Your behavior will be taken into account. We're still waiting to hear more about when that changes will kick in, but what we do know is there are explicit exemptions for partners of British citizens, those affected by domestic abuse, or those who gain their right through the EU settlement scheme. Those are explicit exemptions. So basically that's the update. And any questions so far? Thank you for joining. Tochi, do you have any question? If you have question, you can just type it out. So would you want me to do a video on self-sponsorship? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, that's it really for the update. Just to recap in terms of what's changing, the the graduate route is changing, and that will not actually change until the 8th of January 2027, I believe. Let me quickly check. Yes, so that is coming to an end. So in terms of, yes, it's effective from January 2027. So you'll be reducing from 2 years to 18 months, but with the exception of the PhD holders, those ones are not affected. Yeah, those ones will still stay for 3 years after their study. They've successfully completed their PhD or doctoral qualification, then yes, they can stay for 3 years. But other, the graduate one is definitely reducing from 24 months to 18 months. However, if this is only applicable from January 2027, so if that is applicable, to you, then yeah, that will take effect from them. If not, the current 24 months will still apply to you. I've also mentioned that in terms of indefinite leave to remain, we're still waiting to hear. Currently, it's just still as it is. We do know it's likely to be extended. Who is going to be affected? We don't know who that will affect, but we do know there is explicit exemption for spouses of British citizens or those affected by domestic violence or those who gain their rights through EU settlement scheme. Those are explicit exemptions. So we'll know more about, and we do know, of course, that the getting indefinite leave to remain will no longer be based on right, rather on earned interest, contribution to the society, things like voluntary work, paying income tax, all those kind of things. We'll know more detail probably later this year. But the ones that I've mentioned is the ones that have a definite date. We do know that graduates reduction of post-study visa now have a definite date of January 2027. Botswana national will now require a visa to come into UK, and this is effective from 14th of October. This is also if they're on transit. So this is now effective. And then the B1, so English language requirement now raised from B1 to B2 for highest, skilled workers, high potential individuals, and this one I think is effective from 8th of January 2026. So so that's just the quick update I thought I'd bring to you. Now I can take questions if you have any question. Just put it on the chat. Yes, Mr. Williams, Annie N7U, just put your chat. If you have any comment, you can see the box. Just put your question on the chat, and then I'll answer that question. Has it comments? Yes, it's comments. So put your chat. You can ask your question rather through the chat. Thank you. Thank you for joining my live chat, my first live chat. Thank you. I hope this video has been useful. You're welcome, Annie N7U. You're welcome. I appreciate you joining. I'm glad you find it useful. I am glad you found it useful. I'll wait for a few more minutes to take questions you may have. If you have any questions on the update, do let me know. I can answer those questions before we end the stream. Any questions? Thank you all. All right then. If there's no more question, I'll say bye-bye to you until next time. You take care. Thank you for joining, and bye. I'm just in a question. So Chantel, did you want me to do a video on the self-sponsorship? Did you want me to do a video on the self-sponsorship, Chantal? Are you still here? Hello, Chantal, are you still here? Oh, I think she's left. I would... Okay, I'll do a video on this then, since on this, yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do a video on this. Oh, okay, Chantal, you're still here. Okay. All right, we'll do. We'll definitely do a video on this. I don't know. Since you've asked for it, I'll do a video. Any more question? I was going to end the live, but I can see if you have any more question on any of the topic I've covered, or if you want me to go over it again. If not, that is fine. Any more questions? Oh, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys. I appreciate you joining. Oh, next live. Okay. I will do another one. So Chantal asked when is the next live. So I'll do another one next week. Next week. I'll do another live next week. Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do another live next week. And I'll send you the link so you'll be able to join. Yeah. Yes, so Chantal asked, so the lives are weekly. Yes, for now it will be weekly and see how we go, yeah. So weekly for now. I might change you later. Let's see how it goes. But then if you want me to do more than twice a week, do let me know. But let me just stick to weekly for now. I can do weekly for now and then see how it goes. Can always increase it as time goes on. Does anyone else like Chantel prefer weekly? Hello, Atochi. Thank you for joining. At Annie, thank you for joining. Thank you, Tochi. I'm glad you found it. Tochi said this is great information. I'm glad it was useful. I'm glad you found it useful, Tochi. That's the whole aim. So, Chantal, can I ask, why did you want this topic covered? Is it something that you've encountered, or is it something you've had questions about? The self-sponsorship. Hello, Chantal, are you still there? Okay, so Tochi says, I'm wondering if you would do a video on people that live in the UK but have family members in another country that they want to bring over. Always wondered how that works. Of course, Tochi. Of course, Tochi, I can do a video on that. So basically, it depends, in terms family members. Are you asking in terms of them bringing their wives, their husbands, or their children? So I suppose which one is they bringing their husbands or their wife or their children? Which one would you want me to do a video? Because it's quite vast. It can either be that they live over here and they want to bring either their wife or their husband, or they live over here and their children lives elsewhere and they want to bring their children. So it's quite vast. Which one of them do you want me to do? Tochi. The question is for Tochi. Yeah, Tochi. You still there, Tochi? Tochi? Okay. Yeah, I can do a video on that. I mean, brothers, sisters, it depends. I suppose it depends on how old they are and the nationality of the person wanting to bring their brothers or sisters into the country. So it really depends. So first of all, it depends on their nationality. Are they British? What is their immigration status? Or are they EU national? And in terms of the brothers and sisters they're wanting to bring, how old are they? Those kind of thing. But yeah, definitely a video can be done on that. That's not a problem. So thank you for that question, Tochi. Um, yeah. Anyone else have a question on the topic that I've talked about? Yeah, we talked about Botswana nationals will now require a visa to come to UK, even if they're just going on transit. Transit means just passing through UK airport. they are required to have a visa now. That is implemented from the 14th of October 2024. Postgraduate, so graduate visa now is being reduced now from to 24 months rather to 18 months, and that will be implemented from 1st of January 2027. I did mention that the English language requirement for skilled workers, high potential individuals, and another route, let me quickly have a look, will now be raised to B2. So that's high potential individuals and the scale up routes. So routes affected skilled workers, high potential individuals, and scale up routes. So basically, those routes are now required to pass English language tests at level B2. Currently, it's B1. So basically, if someone is renewing their visa before the changes, then B1 will still apply to them. And these changes does not take place until 8th of January, I believe, 2026. So yeah. So if someone is renewing before that date, then the B1 will be applicable to them. So when we're talking about English language requirement, it's the test they are required to do when they're applying for visa within that route. So they have to pass it at a certain level, at a certain qualification. Currently it's B1. So the changes coming into place from 8th of January 2026 is they have to pass now at B2. Yeah. So in terms of qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain, no further news on that. We're still waiting to hear. In terms of who it will affect, we don't know yet. We do know that there is a lot of proposal to extend it from 5 years to 10 years. It will no longer be based on handwriting, but be based on no, it will no longer be based on entitlement because somebody has completed 5 years. Then, like it was now, what the government is saying will be based on and right. So meaning that you've earned the right to now get indefinitely to remain, either through your contribution to the society, voluntary work, point-based system, maybe paying tax, all those kind of things, working, rather than being on benefit, although we don't know how that will pan out, we'll know more. But yeah, so yes, so I think that's it really. If you do not have any more questions, then we'll end, unless if you have more questions for me that I can answer. And if not, I'll be saying bye bye for joining this. This is my first live. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your support. And thank you for interacting. I appreciate it. Thank you. Any more questions? So, Tochi, do you know people that these changes may affect? The changes that I talked about. Do you have any friends or family you think this may affect? Are you still there? Anyway, thank you so much. I hope this live have been helpful. So if you find this useful, do tell other people about the changes, and do subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of content. Thank you, and until next time, bye bye.